Hello, and welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. Back today, issue 82 of the Hachette Partworks release of Titanic, the ship, the legend. So what's in today's magazine? Well, there's an article on Wilbur and Orville Wright, the famous Wright brothers, with their rather weird looking plane. They were involved in the printing business, and then they opened a bicycle sales and repair shop, which you can see there. And again, there is the plane. Quite a lot to do with the Wright brothers here. Yeah, again, their test flight. That was in France. And then an article on Annie Catton, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, who was the Titanic's masseuse. Said nothing. And then, the Lapland from Red Star Line was hired to take the surviving crew home to the United Kingdom in April of 1912. And then we're on to the instructions. Now, I mentioned last time it was quite a big box. This time, it's even bigger. So, if you're building this through Agora Models and you're getting quite a few issues, because I got 4 issues and it was quite a big pack that came through, you're going to get a massive box for these stages. But without further ado, let's see what's in it. Okay, so in today's box, we have paper. We have an even larger section of the bridge deck. That looks fantastic. I know there are some inaccuracies on it, but in all honesty, it looks really, really good. And, you can kind of forgive it slightly. I know there are things in the works to kind of, mod the sides to make the portholes and things a lot more accurate. But, for the casual viewer, all they'll see is, oh, that looks like Titanic. But if you want it to be accurate, there are a few bits you're going to have to change. Now, the other thing we have is some more curly pieces of deck. Hopefully these ones will fit better than the last ones did, but I hae my doubts. And it's not even in an area I can get in to put clamps on, which is going to be a concern. But there we go. And if you see, when you put them on, they go on here. So they actually go between 2 sections of the bridge deck. So, yeah, it's going to be tricky, but it is what it is, I suppose. And finally, we have the usual AP screws. And let me just get the debris out of the road just now. And the little brown packet, we have, if it decides it wants to play ball, there we go. Some little metal bracers for the join between the 2 sections of the bridge deck, just for a bit of reinforcement, which is good. Knowing obviously that the boat deck was extremely flimsy while we were assembling it, so that is very, very welcome indeed. So the first thing I need to do is get the piece we were working on last time over. So I'll get that and I'll be back in just one moment. Okay, so here we have our new section, and here we have the piece we worked on last time. You can see there the deck's settled not too badly. So what we do basically is, is that the wrong way around? Yep. Line it up like so, and upside down, and you should see that all these points here line up. Now, like what they've done there, where it's not in a straight line, there is a slight bend to the fixing posts, so that it'll be a bit of a stronger joint and it won't fold, hopefully. I don't know if this is the bit that broke in the Titanic, but if it did, I don't blame it, because it's not easy to put this piece together. There we go. You may need to work a little bit with it to get it to sit in place properly. Now we're fitting 6 screws into these points here. Start with this one. what I'm going to do is again put a little bit of pressure in from underneath, just so the screw goes in a bit more easily and you're not relying on the screw to pull the two sections together, because that's never wise. Again, in there. I did do a quick mock-up after last time just to see how it all looks when it's together, and oh, massive smile on my face with that one. It looks superb. We're really starting to get an idea of what she's going to look like when she's done. I know a lot of people aren't chuffed with the inaccuracies. In particular, one we're going to come to talk about later on, after I finish this, basically. But again, we'll discuss that later. Because as I said, even Bismarck, although it was aimed at kind of, I don't want to say a higher skill, but a lot of Bismarck was a lot more complicated than what we're seeing on Titanic. There's a lot more detail to it, a lot more bending of photo etch pieces, especially by this stage of Bismarck. You'd already done like the Admiral's Bridge and everything, which had I remember building the weapons rail for the bridge, and it was all, I mean, bits of photo etch smaller than this screw, and it had to be bent and fitted precisely. Not easy, but it looks phenomenal when it's done. So I think Titanic was aimed at the more kind of mainstream market, because it's far more famous, whereas Bismarck is more likely to be, not uniquely, but more likely to be built by people who do more models. So that's what she looks like. Stunning, absolutely stunning. But now the bit I'm not looking forward to. We have to now attach the deck pieces. But first, I do need a little bit of super glue, because they want us to do this before we do the deck, which is fair enough. I don't like these wee tubes of glue. Certainly prefer the vacuum sealed one, but they don't seem to have any of that in stock. And when I asked them, they said they didn't know when or if they would be getting it back. So, yeah, that's not ideal. But what we're doing is taking these bracket sections here, and they are going into, if you can see, there are indents here and here, just like that, and they will glue in just there. And that's, as I say, just to give a bit of strength to the top of the superstructure section. It's given a bit of strength, so it won't come back out, but I wouldn't want to do it without putting the glue in. So, say a little bit of super glue just into this indent here, and this indent here, and I'll put the glue on the other side while I'm here as well. You'll be able to see it slightly better. There and there. Again, push. You may need to push the sections of the deck together, but as I say, it does close the gap really, really nicely. Because obviously that's a big concern, is having joining gaps in the joins later on. But there we go, that's those two braces fitted. I'm just going to push that one down a little bit, so it doesn't seem to have settled all the way into its hole there. That's it in now. Just check the other side. Yeah, they're both in. Perfection. Nice. Now the not so nice part, gluing the deck sections down. Now, as I say, you can see they go there and there. They cover the join between the two pieces like that. As you can see, mine have started to roll up again, and there's no way I'm getting anything in there. So what I'm going to have to do is find something vaguely heavy. I don't even know if my paint tubs will be heavy enough to hold it down. I don't think they will. I'll see what I can find to kind of weigh the deck section down. But as a first precaution, I saw somebody in one of the Facebook groups was asking what to use to glue the decks down, and what I'm using is Gorilla Wood Glue. And I find that works much better than the standard PVA I was using at the start. A couple of people advised me to use that, so thank you to them. One of them was Rod Adams, so thank you. This is certainly a lot better than the PVA glue I had used in the first few sort of decking areas. Again, as always, into all the wee nooks and crannies at the corner, because that's the main bit that will peel, is the corners, particularly since these, for some reason, these decking sections in this issue and in the last issue seem to have a lot more problems with them coming bent, whereas the other ones weren't as bad for that. I don't know why. Maybe it would be a thought for Hachette to send them with some sort of packaging that keeps them straight, but I don't know. It's certainly not ideal when you're getting decking pieces and they're curved, because it's going to mean that when you're trying to stick them down, that adhesive that comes on them is never ever going to hold them down. And that's just my thought. And obviously with sections like this, you're going to be able to see them to an extent, and you don't want to be looking in through the side of your model and seeing peeling deck, because you're never getting in to fix it. Once this is all fixed together, you're not going to be able to gain access really to fix any peeling issues. So yeah, you don't want it to be peeling. I do say this all the time, and I do apologise, but if this is the first video you've watched, then if you're just in to get advice on how to do certain things, then hopefully this'll help you. There we go. So that is enough glue, I think. Again, peel the backing off, being very, very careful not to peel any of the planks away. This has happened a couple of times in the earlier stages. And press it down into place. I'm just going to hold it for a couple of seconds, because I say there's no way I'm going to be able to get a clamp in to clamp it down. It seems to be sitting not too badly just now, and I'll put the other side in as well. If I can get the backing paper off it. There isn't a... Ah, there we go. Gotcha. Again, you can tell by touching it yourself, it's not that sticky, the adhesive that's on it, so that is going to give you problems in the future. And there we go. Just push it right into the corners, and I'm going to use the end of my screwdriver just to push it right down into the corners, just so that it's all stuck down properly, just like that. And with that, that is us complete for issue 82, and that's what she's looking like. I mean, it does look fantastic, doesn't it? It's a massive, massive piece, and these kind of side superstructures are, again, they add so much to the hull when you sit them on top of it. Yeah, just absolutely chuffed to bits with how it looks. So, that's it for issue 82. What's in issue 83? The parapet, port and starboard walls for the bridge deck, LED strip and cable, connectors and screws. Now the main issue is that bit there, if you can see. Now where it goes on the ship is it goes right across here. So as you see, the front is one of the iconic pieces of the ship. And the part they give us is shocking. It's a lump of white plastic. The portholes are just big stick out white lumps. And even if you try to drill them out, because of where they've put the fixing points behind them, excuse me, you can't really drill them out. So I'm going to have a look and see what I can do with it, because it's shocking. Now I've said, you know, a couple of windows being out of place here and there, stuff like that. It's a lot of work for not a lot of gain, because a lot of folk are going to be coming in and viewing my stuff. They don't really know that much about ships anyway. They'll recognise it as Titanic. And as long as I do a good job of building what they send me, that'll largely be fine. But this piece, no, this piece is not good enough. It's not acceptable. So I'll have to see what I can do. However, I've received confirmation that Woody's Model Works has got their hands on what we have so far of Titanic, and they're working on that front parapet to make something that looks good. So if I hear more on that, I will keep you up to date. But yeah, I will do issue 83 just now, and hopefully that'll come to fruition before we need to mount everything and it becomes too late. But I'm going to have a look at it and see what kind of changes I can make to make it look tolerable for now. But yeah, sorry for the rant there, but it's just to make you aware that I'm not happy with, and you'll see why in the next issue. But this is what we've got so far. I think that looks really good. Again, the iconic side pieces with the covered in windows, because that was one of the big changes from Olympic to Titanic, was those windows were covered. On Olympic they were the same size all the way along, and apparently it was the spray. The feedback on Olympic was the spray was too much on the promenade deck, so they had to then cover the front windows up. Anyway, that's us for issue 82. Join me for issue 83. As always, thank you for watching. Feedback, comments, criticisms, complaints, do pop them below. And while you're there, click the wee like button and the subscribe button too, to be notified of the rest of this and another build that will be coming once I'm up to date with Titanic. So, as always, thanks guys, and peace out.